If you were born after the year 2000, you have probably owned some type of device with a screen before. A phone, a laptop, a tablet, or some type of gaming console. All of them have app everywhere. App to edit photos, watch videos, talk to people on the other side of the world. We use them every day, but we almost never stop to ask a simple question. How hard it is to actually make one. Not as a team, with no experience, with no degree, just a random person, starting from nothing. That question stayed with me longer than I expected, and somehow lately I made this. Stay until the end, you might need it one day for your future project. The year is 2026. Some of us are already in our 30s. Others are spending their last moment of their 20s. And for a long time, I felt like the years were moving forward while I stayed exactly where I was. I had never built anything real, nothing modern, nothing I could point at and say I made this. From a young age, I have felt in love with computers, but I have never had a clear path to learn them properly. The way I use them is what most people do. I use apps. A lot of them. For each task, there are multiple ones to choose from. Whenever I was stuck, a quick search online gave me the answer I desired. Whenever I needed something, someone had already made it. Slowly, without noticing, I became the type of a human that is good at consuming and never invented anything. Every idea I had felt pointless because somewhere, someone smarter, faster, and better had already done it, and done it even better. And that feeling didn't stay limited to technology. This fact has expanded from only computer science to the entirety of my life. The food I eat, the media I watch, the house I live in, and even the clothes I wear. Everything around me was prepared, packaged, and ready to consume. I became a full consumer with no skill or drive to create anything. But it's time to say it's enough. I will ignore the web. I will ignore the 7 billion people around the world. In 2026, I will make a thing. Something small, something imperfect, but something I could point at and honestly say, I made this. It all started with a small word. I was having a casual conversation with my cousin about a simple project. He asked me if I could teach him how to make a cool invitation card for weddings and special ceremonies. On the surface, it sounded easy, but the truth is something no one knows about me. I don't feel confident enough in graphic design to sell a product to any client. In fact, I don't have confidence at all in anything. And if I don't fully trust my own skills, how could I teach someone else? That's when an idea appeared on my head. What if I didn't do the creative part at all? I would give him all the tools that I know about or I used before, and just add special touches on my own. New app with specific tools. Tools that handle the boring technical side of the business and let him focus entirely on the creativity. An app that manage project, guest list, and printing automatically. Something that make the workflow clean and simple. That way creation wouldn't be my responsibility, but I had still be helping him in a real way. I told him it's all up to you. What I can give you is the tools, a good workflow and structure for your project, but your success will solely depend on you, on your artistic taste. He looked at me and asked me, wait, can you really make an app like that? I said yes. The problem is, when I said that word, they had no idea if it was even possible. And once words leave your mouth, you can't take them back. They are like bullets. The moment they leave the barrel, there is no return. The title of this video is I made an app with no experience. Because it's true, I had never made an app before. But that's far from the whole picture. Yes, I might not have built an app, but I have learned things from the year of being an addicted consumer. I know how app should feel, what button makes sense, what features matter, and what frustrate users instantly. And I have been alive for more than 20 years, so of course I had other experience I could bring into this project. One of those experiences was a website I tried to make about the coolest fighting game characters. I made everything from scratch, so manipulating line on Visual Studio Code was not completely foreign. HTML, CSS, and basic JavaScript weren't fully unknown to me. I understand the core rules, but I am still far from mastering the novice level. If you won't check this video, you might like it. I think it's well made, maybe. When I get home, I didn't know if I could actually do it, but like it or not, the only way to find out was to start. I began by writing everything I wanted this app to have. I found that writing down your idea helps you on organizing the whole flow of the project you have on mind. After I wrote down everything I wanted to do, it's time to start making an HTML, CSS, and JS. The idea was to try this new version of an AI called GLM 4.7. Many people were praising it for programming. I asked it to start working on an HTML based on my description that I already wrote down, and it gave me something impressive, something to start working with. But there was a problem. After like 4 hours of tries, I hit a serious wall. I wanted the app to have profile, project, autosave, and can manage them locally, automatically on the user computer. A normal website can't do that. To create and delete files locally, I needed special access, something a local running app can do. After some research, I realized I needed JS Node to turn my website into something closer to a real application. From that, I can modify and customize it to the structure I have on my mind. And this kind of app is called Electron app, I guess. I follow ChatGPT instructions step by step and finally got it running. But that's when the real problem showed itself. I already knew my lack of strong JavaScript fundamental would limit me, but I didn't expect it to be this bad. And only trusting generative code will not take me far, but not to this extent. Every time I ask the AI to add a feature, something else broke. Fix one thing, lose another. And worse, the lack of understanding human concept sometimes make it so I have to specify many things the AI have to do. For example, if I want to add a full screen button, the AI will add it, and it can even add it with JavaScript function. But it can't make that button a full screen until you tell it to make it to have that function. Like to remove the full screen. I can't really work like that. I felt like I have reached a dead end and I have to leap back to the basic. But this can't be the limit. I'm sure that there is a better tool to help me with multiple functions I wanted the app to have. And the way I am interacting with the AI is the core problem. The issue here is the same as what I have faced in the first website project. At this moment, I start losing hope and I start thinking, maybe I should just ignore the word that I just shouted. It's not like I have never failed before. What one can add to an already big number, you know? Then I saw a YouTube short title something like the best free AI tools for programming you have never heard of. This is interesting. It has the free tag, which is good, but more importantly, the tools shown there solve the exact problem I was facing. The first interesting tool was dGundz. It's a free Google tools that can do both the user interface test and the coding part too. This will for sure fix a lot of my issue without adding a new problem, since it tests each new modification before the submission, and could even work with an entire repository. The second is the Google Code Editor Anti-Gravity. It's like a Visual Studio Code, but it has a full AI agent that can help you on the fly with your coding on your real project in the note editor in real time. It's basically as if a human teacher is helping you with your lesson. Since my stupid unknowledgeable brain told me my project will be small and only a few lines will be enough to make it work, I really underestimate the whole size of this app. I uploaded my whole repository and dGundz started working. The first thing it did, it created a virtual space to run my code from both the user and coder perspective. And the first issue that it faced is the fact that I am using GS Node to get access to user local space. At that moment, I knew that the core function of my app can't be tested here. And dGundz surprised me by understanding this too, and it chooses to use an online pictures to test the app function. I tried many variations, and I choose to start from the dGundz version that it just finished working on, and try to make it work on local computer with the structure I have on my mind. The idea was simple: keep every line that behaves correctly, compare it with the future changes, and slowly build a stable version. This solved the biggest problem I had with AI before, but to move fast, I needed an AI that worked directly with the code in front of me. Thanks to that video, we already had Anti-Gravity installed. But wait, I have seen Copilot agent on a Visual Studio Code. Can it do the same? No way, it actually code for me. I just told it to fix this and that and it will do it. Finally, something feels like moving forward. I start working with the latest GPTs, and each time I made a change or added anything, I tested the changes. If I like the change, I save. If not, Ctrl+Z. Thing is moving, not fast, slow, yeah, but I can see the end of the app in the next 12 hours. Stupid me, AI like this can't be free, and the company made it needed to get the money back. So after just 5 hours of having access to such a great friend who knows how to code, the free access is over and I have to pay. I am broke, so that is out of the question. Thanks to the video I watched, I still have another free tries on the Google thing. So I made a copy of my current repository and opened it in Anti-Gravity. To be honest, I think this AI is even better. It understands the problem much better, and the solutions are always on point. But now I had this fear on my heart. What if I reached my limit on the middle of generation? No, it does not matter if it's on the middle or not. How I am supposed to code alone after getting the taste of those powerful tools? And the strategy was keep the good change, modify manually stuff I know about, like the CSS on the HTML, and remove the unwanted change. I don't know how many prompts I am still allowed to put in, but there is something I sure need to do before I become alone again. The app has many bugs, and it's slow when doing some function even though it should be light calculation. And the problem that first crossed my mind was maybe the fact that my GS has become so long that it takes some milliseconds to reach each function that normally should have been on the top line. So I knew I had to break my GS into many ones with a good app structure that make the app work smoothly. So before I am alone again, and lastly Gemini, please do that for me. And this made my heartbeat go so fast. I knew the whole project could reset here if my access ended right now. I know for sure that some parts of the build will break, but I can always fix it later. I ran the prompt, and just as I guess, my AI agent has left me alone after this last command. This took a lot of AI power. Okay, now I have to test it. And from the first look, I knew the new GS structure is good, but it doesn't work. I have no idea how to know what each JavaScript do, and how do I fix it. It has been 2 days, and now I am alone with no AI to help or someone to ask. What should I do now? I have no idea. I guess it is time to sleep and leave it to tomorrow. A new day started, and the first thing I did was turn on the PC. I could not rest while thinking about a solution. Even when sleeping, all my dreams were about this project. I literally had no idea what should I do next. When I opened the project again, I was totally lost. Yes, I'm the person who ordered the AI to do all of this. But there is something weird about not understanding your own project. I felt completely useless, like a stranger not belonging to this foreign land. This was just a feeling, and the only way to remove it completely from my heart was by literally learning what I did yesterday. I started by reading all the code and testing each logic manually, and for every part I asked ChatGPT to explain how the code worked. It was overwhelming, but that was all I could do. After 4 hours, I reached a conclusion. I could not do it. Then I remembered, wait, I have a good GPU and I already tried running AI locally. Why not use a local AI agent and tell it to do it for me? With this, I would be using the new power and technology of this era, and the app would work for sure. After a simple search, I learned that by using LM Studio, I could host it as an agent using an agent extension for Visual Studio Code. All I have to do is load the code in LLM. And there are a lot of open source models, but some of them weight hundreds of gigabytes. And LLMs do not work like normal apps. The model has to run entirely on the GPU, not like normal program where storage holds the files and only calls the files needed. LLMs need the whole model loaded to work. It's literally like a real human brain, where we always use all of our knowledge when we do anything. Maybe that's why we learn so slowly. So the first limitation was my 60 GB of RAM. I downloaded many models that could run, and using specific extension for Visual Studio Code, I had multiple AI agents running locally. Now all I had to do was run the prompt. The first thing I asked was to check my entire code so far and understand the whole progress and project goal. But here is where I learned something new. Since I was loading a lot of information, I needed many references. So the AI could understand exactly what to do. And the unit here is not megabyte, because sometimes a file can be only a few kilobytes. But calculation and processing to make that file will take a lot of power. Here they call it tokens. And that's when I understand why every big company and government is investing billions of dollars. The power needed to run such complicated tasks can never run locally on a portable devices. So the cloud is the solution. And the person with the best model will monopolize the whole market. To make money, they won't charge you by megabyte like mobile internet, but by tokens. How much power you use from their servers. And just so you know how much I needed, my project was not even that complicated. My GPU could only run 8K token with a coded AI model. It stopped before it even started because of the length of my code. So I tried downloading a smaller model and maximizing the token size. I asked it to make a website from scratch that worked as a calculator with basic calculation function, plus, minus, multiply, and divide. Here I was shocked. Yes, the AI made it locally, but it took 3K tokens and was extremely slow. It took almost 10 minutes, and that model was small and dumb, so the code had many bugs. If just a calculator could stop my GPU, how about a whole app? I thought I would do it the same way as before, but I couldn't. The truth was, I was spoiled. I was spoiled by a powerful AI, and without it, I felt like an empty, stupid person. Now I felt like a total loser who couldn't cope. This thought started to haunt me. Was it really me making progress, or was I just being carried by AI? Now that I faced the reality of my own power and knowledge, I felt like nothing but a consumer again. What I was running from at the start, to break the curse and make something, I fell into that trap again. It was over, nothing I could do. But wait, was this really new? This was obvious from the start, so why was I getting emotional? Use what is available and try your best, that's all. After taking a break, I made up my mind. I will give one last chance to the not so smart AI with 1 month free trial. But this time, every piece of code I got, I had to understand it. Let's go. One by one, code by code, I fixed the important buttons, the exporting logic, and much more. The app started running much smoother, and the idea I had before began to manifest right now. What I learned is that I must understand every logic behind even the smallest feature I want in my app. For example, profile and project management, I can't just let the AI do it for me. I need to structure my idea and have a plan from the start. Then the AI can use its knowledge to give me the GS lines. After testing, I can tell it to fix or modify things. I also learned that if the AI cannot fix a problem on the first try, there is a high chance I will never fix it. I don't know why, but that won't stop me. When I hit a wall like this, I will build a ladder manually and climb it step by step. I added the name of the app, INVCARD, invitation card. You got it? Invitation card, INVCARD. Each time I saved the version, so if I ruined the app, I always had a backup. Then I made a logo. I drew a random circle, triangle, and lines, then refined it in Photoshop and 3D software. I added many UI elements font, and an easy way to interact with them. Each slider can also control by number input and dragging the mouse on the number. I added a rotation option and a reset button. I added a way to export a picture using Ctrl+Shift+S and many other features. Now that the app finally felt stable, it was the time to export it as .exe. For that, I asked ChatGPT, followed step-by-step guide, and after many tries, I managed to finish everything. The app is fully ready with some bugs, but let's try it out. You can get it for free from the link below. Now I will show you how to use it. I hope it's good. So this is the app. Before we do anything, let me try to explain. My design philosophy was I want you to start from here, then go to here, then go to there. So if you follow this line, this app will be so simple to use. It's like the line of progress. So we are going to start to talk about project manager, then profile, then background overlays, text layer. This one I still didn't test yet because they don't have a printer. The first thing that you find is something called project manager. In the project manager, you will name any project. You can name it the name of your customer. Here I have two projects. If you don't select any project, you can't use any of those settings. You have to select at least one project. For each project, by default, there are 4 profiles, and those profiles are going to be saved automatically. But if you want to delete them, you can just go here and delete. The active profile is profile 1. In this profile, we are going to choose now the background. The background is basically something you have already made on your own. See, the canvas is not the same size as the size of the background that you have already made. Not me, but you. Those are just examples. So to go to the canvas settings, and you can either modify it like this or put the number. And if you want to zoom in or out, you can use this slider or the middle scroll wheel. You can use the scroll wheel of the mouse. If you press the middle button, the scroll wheel, you can move it around like this. Okay, now that you put the canvas settings the same size as the size of the background, you can move the guest name. And the way I made it is basically like this. You see the name of the guest, no matter how long or short the name is, it can never be outside of the green boxes. I made it like this, so if the name is so long or short, it will never be here or here, it will always be in the middle. And the design will always be clean and clear. You can also add this thing called the numbering. The numbering will start from 1, and you can even modify it like start from 2 or 0, whatever. You can enable or enable it. Okay, let's say for example we finish the rotation and everything of the background. Let's block it. So like this, we can't move it around randomly. Okay. The overlay, we are not going to use it here, but I will give you an example after that. Let's go to the text layer. Here, if you want, let's say for example, you have already made this background and it's a headache to go to your Photoshop or whatever file you have already used. You just add a small text because your customer wanted to add it. You can just add the text here. And if you don't like it, you can also delete it. But also, if you want to change, let's go to the guest box settings. Here you can also choose the font. You can choose the color. You can choose the color and pick, let's say, this color. And for the stroke, let's pick this color. And I can also choose like the size of the stroke. I can add the shadow. I can make it bold. I can make it lean to a direction. I can make an underline. I can make it vertical if I wanted to. If you want to add more font, you have to add it from the text layer. Okay, go import font. Then you can add any font you wanted. Let's say, for example, I want to add this one. Open, added. Go here, you will find it. See, I added the font. Now you can also add the size. No matter how short or long this one is, it will never be outside the green box. The problem here is basically this. You have to count for the spacing letter, because this spacing letter will be the difference between how the green box work and text inside. You have to count for this too. For all of those things that have numbers, this, for all of those sliders, this one or this one, you can either put any number you want, or you can move it with this or like this. You can hold a mouse button and drag it right to left. What's this? The curve. Let's reset the curve setting is not working. There is a bug. And sometimes you can't put any letter inside. To fix that, you have to, because it's a bug, I didn't know how to fix it. Press Ctrl+Shift+A. You have to enter the developer mode, then quit it again. It will work fine. No worry. Okay, now that we have finished everything, let's talk about the rendering. In the rendering, there isn't that much to talk about. For example, I have this names list that I generate. Okay. The moment I paste the names here, I click process the list. So all of the names are already here. See, here, yeah, green box, I should move it much better. Here, here. Those are all of the picture. I can add the price. I can make any price I want. This currency, ignore it. It's a currency that my cousin wanted to use. You can add a comment. A comment is basically how the deal went with your customer. Let's say pay me something like that. Or maybe it's not about the payment. Maybe also this will be he will receive his cars during this data. And anyway, let's talk about rendering. There are two rendering strategies. You can either put it in a new folder or in the current folder, and I will tell you exactly why. Let's say, for example, I start a new folder, of course, because this is the first time. The moment I click render, see, it render all the 64 numbers. So if I go to the folder, go to renders, season profiles, I will find all of the pictures here. And also a report. In the report, I will find the day that I rendered the pictures, how many for each unit, how many for all of them, and all of the name and list. All of the names that were invited. Keeping the same profile and the same settings. The customer wanted to add it like a new names. Let's say, for example, Kai Kiske is basically the new guest. So if I click process the list, it will only add that new name. Let's say the strategy will be rendered in the current season. Let's click render. This time it only render one and skip all the 64. If I go to the folder in the renders, in the season file, I will find Kai Kiske, and in the report file, I will find the new patch addition. How many one I added, how many I have skipped, and how many money he had to give me more. This is the total price of the previous render and the total render. I don't know. And also you can add any comment you wanted. Because maybe he pay you the first batches and you are waiting for the new payment. This is all how you deal with your own customer. As I told you, the profile will be saved automatically. So if I quit the app, it will always open from the previous setting. If I create a new profile, it will name it profile 1 or whatever the previous profile was plus copy. The moment you process a list, you can't choose anything. You can't add an overlay. You can't add a text. You can't do anything to it. The only way you can modify it is basically if you quit reset the queue. Right now you can modify it. Queue that you have been arguing with your customer with is basically the profile one. So if you told you like I want this but with another color, you can go here, profile one copy, go to the background and change the color of the invitation. Let's say for example make it blue. See? And go to the guest box, go to the go here and choose some blue like that. And also go to the stroke. Of course, it will not be this one. Maybe we make it, or maybe we change this to this, something like this. Maybe you want something like that. Here you have to process the new list and render in a new current file. So basically, you have two folders, and each folder there is a version. The moment he chooses, maybe he talk with his wife or his mother or whatever, or anyone that has to deal with this party. So they will find a new best card for them. So if you process the list again, you will find the whole people, and you can render it, or either keep it in those two. And no worry, even if you quit the app, it will always open like this. And if you want a new one, you can create a new profile and start again. And let's say you have a completely new one. This is what I was talking about. You have to put a new name for a new customer here, for a new project. But the problem is I can't put it here. That is like an unknown object that doesn't let me to press in this text. So the way to fix it is basically Control-Shift-A, Control-Shift-A, then quit this. That's all. Enter it, then quit it again. Right now I can put a name. Let's say, for example, make it Jack. This is for Jack. Everything here is new again. Let's say this time, instead of making it like an invitation like this, you can also choose to use the overlay. The moment you choose a background color, the background automatic will be the background picture will be automatically selected. And also, if you have you can search for the name of a background, or either search it like this. And also you can even make the pictures big. And you can also go to here and import any image you wanted. Okay, and this idea is basically if you want to use this app to create your own invitation card. So basically you have many overlays that you have already made, and then you can here change the color of just the background and the name, and also you can add the text. I don't recommend this. The best way is basically to use a specific good application with many settings to make a perfect background. Then use this only to add names. It's up to you. Let's say if this one is basically good, you can press Control Shift plus S to only render that one. Let's call it invitation jack. You have already exported that as an image, and you can send it to your customer and tell him like, is this a good card? Do I have to modify anything? Of course you have to modify this because it's only red then. And yeah, I think that's it. What do you think of the app? Is this good? I hope you like it. And if you want to support the channel, make sure to download this app. You can get it for free, of course. If you want to get this whole code, I'm going to share it. I'm going to share it, how it functions, what do you need, everything about it. I'm going to share it in the link below. Finally, I can put an end to this project, this video and this app. If you like it, drop a like below. And if you want, you can get the app or the source code from the link below. This was a great lesson. I have learned many things. And the one thing that I really learned is how scary our time is. I could have said that AI is still stupid and that you still have to learn the basic yourself and just use AI as support. But during the last 4 months, many new versions of AI Coder have been released, and they are much better than whatever I have been using. As always, I am slow, and before I finish my first step, people have reached the 1000th floor. This fast development is really scary. Things that I have always wanted to learn can become pointless when I finally learn them. The same way guns remove the art of the sword from the whole world, AI might remove many things that we admire or use to live with, and no one can stop it, since the leaders of the world only care about protecting their systems. I have really conflicted feelings. Without AI, I will never have been able to make an app like this in just 20 days. But if people like me start being developer with no basic, the whole science will be dependent on machines, and if we lose it, we lose everything. That's why each one of us, if he has any skill or knowledge, make sure to share it with your children, niece, nephew, friends, neighbor, and anyone who needs it. Either way, the future we are leading ourselves into will be the most smart ignorance we have ever reached. People surrounded by advanced stuff, but they know nothing about it. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.
Je mets journal, ou lié,